Hello, I'm the reviewer. You review it, I review you. This is my partner, Mr. It. Today, we're taking a look at the Blockbuster Buster review of The Vampire's Assistant.
Greetings, Deadites and Death Dealers. I'm Erod, and I'm the Blockbuster Buster, and welcome to the 3rd annual Halloween Havoc. Now, this is the part of the video where I usually delve into the rich history of the source material of the movie that I'm reviewing, but honestly, there is no point. I could sit here and tell you all about the Darren Shan Cirque du Freak book series, but you know the only reason that this story was adapted to film was because this poop is popular. So without even watching the movie, I can already tell you that it won't be faithful to the book, that it will confuse casual viewers, and that the pacing might be off, as this film was more than likely rushed through production.
Well, aren't you just being a little ball of fair criticism?
So there you go, I just saved you from 27 compare and contrast jokes.
Well, that's not gonna stop us.
So our movie begins in the middle of the story, as we find that our main character, boring, bland, average white guy Darren Shan, has died. As we meet his grief-stricken friends and family, we suddenly pan down to reveal... Submitted for your approval. This movie is pathetically trying to appeal to tweens. You've been warned.
Personally, I'm not sure how I feel about this change, as in the books, Darren was like 11 or 12, something like that, and not the 16-year-old that we see here.
So we flash back to the beginning of the story, where we properly meet Darren, and guess what? He's just as plain, boring, and bland as expected. He's a popular, straight-A student with loving parents and no discernible flaws. Don't you just want to spend an hour and a half with this asshole?
I think the idea was to show what a great life Darren had and what a tragedy it was that he's going to have to leave it later in the movie. Granted, it's not done well, but still.
So Perfect Ponce is hanging out with his troublemaking best friend, Steve, when they receive a flyer for the freak show. So our undynamic duo go to catch themselves the freak show. But before they head inside, it's once again time for...
Incredibly awkward backstory!
So for absolutely no good reason whatsoever, smack dab in the middle of the scene, Darren decides to narrate to himself how he is a big fan of spiders and Steve is a big fan of vampires. I wonder if there could have been a way that they could have delivered this exposition visually. You know, like they do in movies!
Or the least they could have done was put that backstory in a less awkward place.
So the boys enter the freak show and Ken Watanabe, Orlando Jones, Jane Krakowski, Kristen Shaw, all playing freaks with superpowers? Whoa, now this is an awesome cast, and it definitely makes up for these two lame assholes. The only thing that would make this cast perfect would be...
Bah!
Put a beard on Salma Hayek. That's like drawing a cock on the Mona Lisa's forehead. What? Some people find poultry offensive. So after that visual cold shower, we finally get to meet this movie's vampire, Lantern Crepsley.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Larton, not Lantern.
Played by John C. Reilly. Did you go to the barber and ask him to give you the little orphan Annie? Alright, look, I'll admit it, John C. Reilly is a great actor, but you're telling me he's supposed to be the vampire? He just looks so goofy and out of place.
Okay, granted, John C. Reilly isn't exactly the most ideal casting for Mr. Crepsley, but he doesn't exactly do a bad job at it either.
So get this, the second that Crepsley steps on stage, Steve recognizes him as a vampire. And how did this personality-stricken juvenile delinquent identify him as a vampire, you might ask? He read it in a book. Apparently in this universe, you can walk into your local Barnes & Noble and pick up a vampire directory.
Hey, you'd be surprised at what kind of mystic reading material you can find at Barnes & Noble.
I would call bullshit on this, but apparently this is also the same universe where the illegitimate child of Eraserhead and Ronald McDonald can pass himself off as a vampire.
Let it go!
Then after the show, yet again with no motivation or prompting whatsoever, Darren breaks into Crepsley's dressing room and steals his spider. Damn it! Stop saying and doing things without any motivation or inciting incident. I mean, how would you guys feel if in the middle of one of my jokes You guys would be fucking pissed.
Then why do we find that very amusing?
So right when you thought the pacing in this movie couldn't get any clumsier or faster, Willem Dafoe, wearing lipstick, comes out of nowhere and tells Crepsley that Mr. Tiny has been messing with the Book of Souls and is amassing an army of evil vampires. Again, they don't show us any of this, they just tell it to us. And who the hell is Mr. Tiny, you might ask? Well, Oh wait, Steve has something to say.
I know what you are. You see, I want this. I want you to make me into a vampire.
I've known you for 2 minutes and I can't stand you. I don't really feature you living forever.
How interesting of a twist would that have been?
So apparently, Crepsley has the magical vampire ability to tell whether you're going to be good or evil by the taste of your blood. You know, as corny as that might be, it is still cooler than sparkling in the sunlight.
Also, wasn't that whole good or evil blood thing in the book?
Crepsley automatically knows that Steven would be an evil vampire, so he sends him away. And I hope you enjoyed that, because I'm pretty sure that that's gonna be the most sensible moment in this entire movie. The next day, Darren shows the spider to Steve at school. The spider gets away, and Steve decides to kill it. Again, for no good reason.
Or maybe because it's a dangerous spider loose on their school?
Long story short, the spider bites Steve. Now he's dying slowly from the spider venom. Darren has no choice but to ask Crepsley for the antidote. Crepsley agrees to give the antidote to Steve, but there's a small catch.
You'll become my assistant.
What?
I'll turn you into a half vampire. You'll be able to go out in the daylight. Very useful for me.
A half vampire?
Vampires don't kill the people they feed on. Vampanese do.
Vampanese? That sounds fucking retarded. I'm not calling them that.
Okay, those things were in the books. I mean, hell, that's what the entire plot of the book centers around.
So, let me see if I get this straight. Out of all the awesome people around you, you pick the white bread lame ass to make immortal and give superpowers to?
Hey, who says the rest of the freaks want to be vampires?
So he turns Darren into a half vampire by touching fingers. You are one lucky bitch.
Again, that was in the books!
So before Darren can start his life as a half vampire, Crepsley must convince Darren's family that he died in a terrible accident.
Never remember. Sorry about that. I had to do that or they would never believe you were dead. Don't worry. There's no damage to your spinal cord. And I'll sneak into the funeral home and fix your broken neck. Oh, and sorry about this next part.
Son of a bitch! I wanted to do those things.
And you have to admit, that was a pretty funny scene.
So now that Darren is a half vampire, Crepsley has him doing chores at the freak show. Why was turning him into a half vampire essential for this?
I honestly do not know, but then again, you can ask that same question of the book.
Tiny shows up, along with the plot of this movie, which has only been talked about up to this point, and he is there with the intention of recruiting Darren for his vamp army. But luckily, the freaks are there to protect him.
You're messing with the wrong sideshow, baby.
Oh, fight your damn noses off. I'm gonna ram my head up your ass.
Oh man, this is going to be good.
Stop. There will be no fighting here.
What the fuck is wrong with this movie? Everything that is remotely interesting about it is either told to you or it happens off screen. And now they're gonna have a big battle and they get cock blocked? You know what? I am gonna say the dirtiest thing that I've ever said on this show. Twilight is better than this movie.
You take that back!
As horrible as those films are, at least they use visual storytelling as opposed to characters just walking into the room and for no rhyme or reason.
Okay, I'm getting tired of that gag.
Wait. This tween movie, it's missing something. Let's see, we have the bad pacing, we have the clumsy pop culture references, and we have the lead character that has the charisma of a rusty horseshoe. Something's missing. What could... Yes, the Fry.
Hello? Pizza delivery for, Icy Wiener? Oh, crud.
The forced romantic interest.
Oh, okay.
And guys, I am not exaggerating when I say that this is the most shoehorned Fry that I've seen so far in the movies that I've reviewed. This character is so tacked on and so poorly written that I can't do her justice with just words.
Yeah, this character is so shoehorned into this movie, she wasn't even in the books. The best that I can figure is that she's a combination of Sam Grest, a young boy who wanted to work for the Cirque, and Debbie, a girl that Darren had a relationship with in the third book.
I'm just gonna let this scene play.
So, you know, Rebecca, you never really told me what you're doing here with the Cirque.
Well, Darren, since you ask, I'm a monkey girl.
You're what?
What?
Nothing, I thought you just said you were a monkey girl.
Well, oh yeah. Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means I have a tail. Do you have a problem with that?
No. Because you're joking, right?
No, I'm not joking. And keep it wrapped up because people kept stepping on it.
If the composition of the scene that you just saw came off as awkward and crappy, that just means that your eyes and ears are working.
I'm sure that the awkward part was intentional, but the crappy was just a side effect.
So Mr. Tiny is still hell-bent on getting Darren to join his side, cause apparently he's the chosen one or some bullshit. So he has Steve kidnap Darren's family and Monkey Girl, and threatens to kill them unless he joins their side. Unfortunately, Darren can't quite bust in and rescue his loved ones, cause he's not strong enough. You see, his vampire powers won't fully manifest themselves until he drinks human blood. Oh man, this means he's going to have to kill somebody if he wants to save his loved ones.
So you really don't kill people?
No, Darren. You just sedate them, feed a little bit, and then leave.
Whoa, how'd you do that?
Vampires can exhale a gas that knocks out humans.
Really?
Drink some blood, you'll be able to do all kinds of things. Now, you just make a small incision in his shoulder, right here. And then you take a sip.
No, I'm not gonna drink human blood.
Again, if you have a problem with this, take it up with the author of the books!
In the books, the reason why Darren doesn't want to drink human blood is because he believes that it'll cause him to lose whatever humanity he has left. And if he doesn't drink human blood, not only will he not be able to protect his loved ones, but he will die. The movie just doesn't do a good job of illustrating this.
Since Darren's not man enough to drink blood, Crabsley tries to rescue his family on his own, but gets spanked by the Punisher vamp. So the dork Ferratu comes to the rescue, but he's still not powerful enough to fight, so Monkey Girl lets him drink some of her blood. She let him drink some of her blood so he could power up and beat up the bad guys.
Okay, granted, that one is sort of in the books and sort of not, but needless to say, it's done better in the books.
So now that Darren is powered up, he fights Steve with the skill and dignity of a cartoon cloud fight.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking stupid.
Right, stay with me folks, cause this is when it gets confusing. Tiny freezes them, cause apparently he has the power to do that.
What?
Then he tells them that they're not ready to fight.
What?
And right before you can ask, then what the fuck was the point of this scene? He goes on to turn Punisher Vamp into a Jawa and walks away.
What?
And I shit you not, that's pretty much the end of the movie. They do a quick wrap-up of the romance, they erase the memories of the family, Sequel beg for a bit, but none of that vampire war stuff that they talked about is ever shown. The freaks do nothing in this movie. Selma Hayek actually does more in Wild Wild West, and no explanation is ever truly given for Darren's importance and why everybody wants his lame ass on their side.
Yeah, but to be fair, they were probably planning to put them into the sequels, which obviously never came.
To me, the major problem with this movie is, ironically enough, not the fact that they use too little from the books, but they use too much from the books. Instead of just having the story of the first book, or even the first two books, they take elements from the first, second, third, and a little bit of 6 and 7. And oddly enough, that leads to a major problem with this review. Half of the problems that Erod has with this movie can be traced back to the original books. So really, it's not really fair to talk about those problems as problems of the movie. But to be fair, the rest of Erod's complaints can be attributed to the people who made this movie, not the author of the books.
I'm the reviewer. You review it, I review you.